Before I start this video, I put this strategy in my Discord server. We live trade in there every single day. Click the link in my bio and I'll see you guys there. Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to identify directional bias. If you guys are confused as to whether a stock is most likely going to go up or most likely going to go down, I'm using this just simple technique, simple strategy. You're going to be able to identify that, and you can also use this strategy to catch entries and exits. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, you're going to want to make sure your time frame is actually on the 1 hour. I'm only looking at the past few days, so 1 hour works perfect for me. But if you guys want to see the bias of, let's say, on a weekly time frame, I would look at the 4-hour candles. But once we're on that, you kind of want to zoom out, kind of see the overall structure of the past few days. The S&P 500 has been doing really well. We've been on a nice uptrend, so already we know that calls are better than puts, but we want to be able to catch these highs and lows that we see here. We want to make sure our entries are efficient. So how we do that is very simple. I want to first identify our key pivot points. So areas where price hits and it goes the opposite direction. This would be a great example. This would be another great one. There's a lot of pivot right here. If you see wicks that are grouped together, that's a very good sign. You kind of want to group them together. And then we have some wicks over here. You have some right here pivot. It looks something like this if we were to look at it on the bigger picture. The reason I'm not going to circle this right now is because this is actually current price. So we don't know what's going to happen, but we can kind of make a educated guess. After you identify these key pivot points, you're just going to want to draw in a zone. So how we figure out where we're going to draw in the zone is, so for the pivots down here, you see these horizontally align. These wicks right here horizontally align with these wicks right here. And you're just going to want to kind of make it one box. You're going to want to make it one zone here. So I'm just going to get rid of this. And this is going to be we're going to call it our demand. Now, once we draw this in, you're going to want to drag it out and just look at it. Does it look like it gets respected? Absolutely it does. Let me show you guys how. So we have rejection off of it here. Rejection, rejection. Once we have a break through it, it gets disrespected here, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. Now, when we dip back into it, it's going to act as a demand rather than a supply. Price is going to bounce off of it. And you can see it does that here multiple times. So how does this help us? We know that if price comes back down here, risk to reward wise, more likely than not, it is going to bounce off of it. Now we need to find our opposite zone, our supply zone. Now how we do that is we look at these two pivot points right here, and you guys can see these two actually horizontally align as well. So I'm going to grab my other box and I'm just going to take it from the bottom right here to the top. And once I do that, I see that this zone kind of looks bigger than this one, and we want to be uniform. We want to be fair. So I'm just going to measure. That is about 1.8. It's not bad. And then this one is about 1.6. So I do want to make this one a little smaller to kind of match the zone down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it up a notch right here. There you go. It's still getting respected. It's just going to be a similar size to the bottom one. So now we have two zones, and we want to make it different colors because they each do different things. So when we have a demand zone, which is always going to be the bottom zone, I typically make that one green because green means up, and once we hit it, it goes up. And then when we have a supply zone, I typically like making it red because red means that it goes down. And, you know, when it hits the supply zone, you can see multiple times it just goes down. So self-explanatory. Now, risk to reward wise, what can we assume is going to happen when the market opens? If the S&P 500 or SPY opens up around where it is within the zone, more likely than not, we are going to have some downside. So let's say hypothetically, the market opens and SPY just shoots up. Now what happens is This turns into our new demand zone because it's at the bottom, it's below price. And this one just becomes kind of irrelevant for now. We don't pay attention to it. Now we can anticipate that price is going to bounce off of this. Very simple way to use zones, use wicks, use price action to identify a daily bias, a weekly bias. And also it definitely helps with your entry. So if you guys struggle with figuring out where you want to enter, use these zones. If you guys want to live trade with me, I post a lot of technical analysis. I post my personal trades every single day in the Discord server. Click the link in my bio. It's going to be free to join, and I'll see you guys there.